What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, and I'm here with my review of Critters Attack. Now, this is a hard movie for me to review because there's two ways to look at this. Number one, it's a bad movie. The acting is very poor, especially in a couple of the lead actors. They just didn't do a good job. A lot of their lines felt forced. A lot of their lines felt like they were reading them, or that they had just memorized them and they were just regurgitating their lines. The plot itself wasn't that interesting, and the special effects, you know, I appreciate the fact that they go back and they use practical special effects for some of these old throwback movies, because Critters, you know, Critters has been around for a long time. Critters, Critters 2, Critters 3, I think there was a fourth Critters movie, there was the TV show recently. So I appreciate the use of practical effects, but you have to be careful with how you use practical effects, because if you don't use practical effects correctly, they just look fake. And a lot of instances in this movie, the creatures looked fake. They just look like puppets. And that's a risk that you take when using practical effects. And that's certainly something we saw here. But then there's the other way to look at this movie. It was fun. It was fun. Let's take off my critic hat for a minute and just watch and just evaluate. Did I have a good time watching this movie? Yeah, I did. You know, maybe it's a little bit of that as nostalgia. You know, the first two Critters movies I watched a lot growing up. The other ones, not really. I know that I think the third one was Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie, but the later movies I didn't really watch. But the first two I watched a lot, and they were fun movies. They were fun introductory horror movies for me when I was little. So all that being said, I had a fun time revisiting these characters. A much more fun time than I did with the recent TV show. A much more fun time. You know, the TV show recently, it was campy, it was stupid. It took the Critters in some directions that were just made you roll your eyes. Cross-species breeding and whatnot. It was dumb. This one brought them back to their roots. They were there to eat. You know, they were attacking humans. And a lot of it was dark. Some of it was dark comedy, but a lot of it was very dark and very violent. So I appreciated that aspect of the Critters movie, the new movie Critters Attack. And it also kind of brought it back to its roots in the sense that these were normal people that were being attacked. You had a babysitter, some of her friends, and the kids that she was babysitting. So there were some fun scenes, especially near the end when they decide that they're gonna take on this horde of critters with like rakes and baseball bats and things like that. It was fun. So I can't deny the fact that I had fun watching it. Objectively, though, it was a bad movie. And I say objective when it's all subjective. But I thought that if I was being objective about it, it was a bad movie. But I can't deny the fun that I had with it. So Dee Wallace makes a fun appearance. She brings the hurt on the critters, especially near the end, and she definitely brought some more of that 80s nostalgia back into the movie. This movie was full of 80s nostalgia. But that being said, I don't think that this is for a person who is not already a fan of the franchise. If you're not a fan of the franchise, I don't think there's anything here for you. If you are a fan of the franchise, and I can't even say I'm a huge fan of the franchise. Like I said, I like the first two, and the rest that you can leave alone. But I can say that I am a fan of the first two. So as a fan of the first two, I had a good time with this movie. But if you're not a fan of the franchise, there's nothing here for you, and I would probably take a pass. If you are a fan, give it a watch. I think you'll have a good time. Overall, I can't give this movie a high grade. I'm going to give this movie a C-. And that's partially objective and partially just the good time that I had with it. A more objective person might even give this a little lower of a grade. But for me, I had a good enough time that I've got to give it a C- and say, yeah, I had fun with this. So that's my take on Critters Attack. Have you seen Critters Attack? Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for being here at BLQ Review, where we talk about all of the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.